Hi, Jesse Johns here with foodandflame.com. Today I'm going to be doing a smoked pork butt. I enjoy doing pork specifically for the summer months. I'd like to do a smoked pork butt because then I'm going to go ahead and do a pulled pork dish for later on. And basically you just allow the pork butt to slowly cook. And you're asking, well, what is a pork butt? Well, the pork butt actually comes from the shoulder of the pig itself. It just happens to have just an odd little name, but it doesn't mean that it comes from the other end of the pig. It's a real nice piece of meat. You can usually get it on sale. I was able to find it for $1.48 a pound, and so that makes a lot of good meals for just basically sandwiches. So I'm going to smoke the pork butt. I'm going to use a dry rub, allow that to smoke using the same two cans that I used for smoking the sirloin tip roast that I did earlier, a couple of weeks ago. And I'm going to use those, smoke the pork butt, and then go ahead and as it cools, take 2 forks and slowly shred it. And at that point in time, you have shredded pork, and then you can place those onto sandwiches, put a little bit of barbecue sauce with it. It's absolutely wonderful to serve. I like to serve it on hamburger buns. Really great. Put some pickles and some onions on there, serve it with some side of coleslaw, and you've got a great meal to serve your family. So I'm going to walk you through this step by step and show you what I'm doing. Here we have the pork roast, or the butt roast, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and do a dry rub on it. The dry rub consists of chili pepper. Also has some crushed red pepper that I've ground up and put in, as well as a little bit of brown sugar, garlic powder, onion powder, and also salt and pepper. And add a little bit of cumin to give it a little bit more smoky taste to it. You can also add some fennel seed to it, grind that up real nicely, and place it on there. What you're going to want to do as far as applying is concerned, I use this little dredger right here, and I just put it in there, and you liberally sprinkle it onto the pork butt itself. So you just want to just cover it as much as possible. Later on, you're going to actually rub this in, hence the name a dry rub. And you're going to be real liberal about putting it all over because that's going to give it a nice flavor. Just make sure it all goes around, and you'll be doing the same thing on the other side. The pork butt itself, this one specifically, is about almost 8 pounds. And if you slowly cook it, which is at a slow temperature of about 215 to 225 degrees, it's going to run you about 10 to 12 hours at a slow cook. You can accelerate it a bit, but I don't really recommend it. After you've rubbed in the dry rub into the meat itself, you're ready to go ahead and place that out onto the grill. In my case, I do use a grill instead of a smoker. I can get away with that because you can use the grill to do that. And it's really good. You just simply put, like I said, those 2 little steel cans that I use for smoking. I put hickory chips in there, and it'll come up to temp. Remember, always soak your hickory chips at least 30 minutes, then drain completely, and then you can place them back onto the grill. Now, if you'll take a look at it, I've pretty much rubbed all this dry rub into it, got everywhere, and just patted it in, and it's got that nice red color to it from the chili peppers and everything else. You may want to make sure that if you're wearing contact lenses, not to put them in your hands, and make sure you wash your hands very well, or use a pair of food preparation rubber gloves, latex, or whatever you need to do that, because if you get it in your eyes, you're going to regret that you did it. So what I usually do is use just my left hand to do all that, and just turn the meat and everything else and just rub it into the meat. So you want to just make sure. Now, right now my grill is coming up to temp, and I'm going to go ahead and place out the 2 cans, get that ready to go, and then I'm going to take the pork butt out, and then we'll go ahead and do a slow cook on it. Now, there is a bone located right here. If you'll notice, there is a great big bone, and that's just going to come away when you do the shredding, and you take your forks and you just pull the meat away, and then you can pretty much either at that point discard it or whatever you want to do with it. The other thing that you'll probably want to take a look at is that there is a fat cap underneath. What I usually will do is I'll start with the fat side up, and after about 30 minutes, rotate it. I tend to do that for the first couple of hours. We'll rotate the meat top to bottom, switching sides and different things like that. So not only do I flip it, but I also will turn it to make sure that get equal heating all the way around when I'm bringing this up to temp. Here we have the pork butt already out on the grill, ready to go. If you'll notice up front are my little cans where I'm going to be doing the smoking. My burner is right up here, runs up the front of the grill, and my other back burners have been turned off, so it's going to be a real slow cook. So like I said, we're going to try to keep this anywhere about 215 to about 225 degrees, and we're just going to let this cook pretty much the rest of the day. So can't wait for it to come out. As you can see, the pork butt roast came out really nice and tender. We got to a temperature of 160 degrees, internal temperature of 160 degrees. Basically, you could stop at about 155, that'd be fine, and allow it to coast. And what I'm going to do is take it into the house, I'm going to allow it to cool a little bit, and then I'm going to take the two forks and just slowly pull the meat apart, so basically just shred it up. And then it'll be great to put on sandwich bread, or like I said, hamburger buns with pickles and onions, a little bit of mustard, and you're set. A little bit of barbecue sauce for those who enjoy that too. Also, if you take a look here on the grill, here's one of the cans that I used for smoking. You can see that it turned into charcoal pretty quickly, and it gave off a nice smoke. Here's the other one here. So I got, this is hickory, and so it's got a nice hickory flavor to it. So you could put in any type of wood. I've used apple wood too. That's really good, especially with pork, and I think you'd enjoy that as well. I had some hickory chips left over. That's the only reason I used hickory, but you could use anything else. Mesquite's a good one to give it a nice smoky taste as well.